Hello again. Hey, Mitchell here. So good to see you. We're here with Streaming Consciousness, and today I'm going to talk about an energy shift. It's Monday, June 16th. This weekend we had millions of marchers across the country. Millions of people got together to communicate what it is that they want. And I think that's what's so fascinating. Yes, there was a no kings theme, but I feel like the bigger picture, the bigger message was this is what we want. And that's critical, because when you ask for what you want, then you're in a far more powerful place than if you're just saying what you don't want. Because when you say what you don't want, then you're just opening up the field. And in fact, a lot of times what you're saying, I don't want, is what grows, because you're focusing on that. So when you're saying, here's what I want, then at least your energy has a direction and a focus. And I feel like a lot of folks, a lot of the energy this weekend was about people expressing what they do want. And so let's go with that. But with what I've mentioned before in my videos, we're going to come into the meditative breath. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this. I call it the meditative breath because it can send the body deeper into a more aware state. And let me just get to the breath first, and then we'll discuss that. So the breath is in and out only through the nose, tongue to the roof of the mouth, behind the front teeth. And we're going to exhale twice as long as our inhale. Another key point too is that our inhales are going to be small but deep. So when I say deep breath, it's deep into the diaphragm down here versus shallow breathing, which we're so used to. And so it's deep breath, but not a big breath. We, in most cases, have been over breathing because we're not really processing the oxygen that we bring in. With this particular breath, we will process all the oxygen far more efficiently than when we shallow breathe or when we breathe in a state of sympathetic awareness. We're breathing more from a state of parasympathetic awareness, and so that deeper breath is far more efficient. Deeper, not larger. Okay, so we're going to breathe in through the nose, expand down here, and then the reason we're letting it go slower is actually as you exhale longer than your inhale, you're actively turning off the adrenal production, the cortisol production. You're actually moving more into your hippocampus and out of your amygdala. So that's my meditative breath, my basic breath. This is a breath that can bring calmness throughout the body. The body itself holds an immense amount of intelligence, and we need to bring that intelligence out continuously. When we allow our body to participate in all of our decisions, all of our circumstances throughout our day, then we have a far more rounded, broader base upon which we live and exist, because we're bringing everything into account. We're bringing the whole crew rather than just the minority. So anyway, let's get back to the shift. I mentioned that there was a big shift over the weekend, and I think a big piece of that shift again was that we were concentrating more on what we do want rather than shouting out against what we don't want. Okay, and what I found fascinating is that so much of this communication wasn't coming from our lips. It was coming from our body. And I saw people that were smiling, that were moving around. They were out in the weather. They were out in the sun or the rain or the weather, and they were participating. They were communicating. They were just, and by communicating, maybe not with words, they were just taking in and moving the energy. And what is this energy that I keep talking about? Well, it's that very sense of beingness that permeates all of what is around us, always. We tend to continually believe that it's this thinkingness that is what's primary. And in fact, the thinkingness is I would have to say almost tertiary. It's so far away from what reality is that the thinking is more about keeping us in limitation, keeping us in physicality, keeping us in this smaller paradigm, because the thinkingness is more about weeding out, extracting those things that don't agree with our conditioning, which has told us that we are physical individuals distinct from one another and distinct from all other things. And that's great, it's fine, and that's what it's supposed to do. But we are not that. We are individual perceptions. And to enhance that individual perception, we create this physical countenance that seems to be differentiated from the chair, the desk, and that other person. But we are consciousness that is imbued throughout the entire community of people, things, nature, and like I said, even the desk and the chair. Consciousness is not a discriminating flow that says that this is a human and this is a dog, and these are two different humans and this is a tree. Consciousness is that flow that allows all of this to be here. The mind alone is the one that creates definitions, labels, and distinctions between one thing and the other. Why? So that we can have this very tactile experience. And so that's what we're doing. We're having this wonderful tactile experience, and let's make it the best experience that we can. And back to what we were experiencing over the weekend when we were out among others and feeling this amazing united oneness, this cohesiveness with all the others that are around us. And so many people saying this is what we want and expressing it. Maybe not in words alone, but in being with the others, beingness, in being present, in communicating by walking together with others, by holding these signs that have words on them that coincide with so many of the others that were the other signs that are out there. So yes, we have this mental breakdown that shows, that endorses this unity and this community, but the feeling, the energy itself of the community, of the people togetherness, the people together in togetherness is what we are generating. We're generating this larger energy that is, wow, so powerful, because again, we are consciousness. When our consciousness focuses in this way, then it invites all the other consciousness that helps to separate and distinguish and create distinctions to unite. So we're creating a space that is more cohesive, and it's far less conducive to the other energies of separation and this sense of violence or uncooperation or separateness that so many in the government right now are trying to perpetuate. But that ship has sailed, and the energy now is about cohesiveness. And so even though they have what looks like the seat of power, they just have the megaphone. They have just a posture, but the energy has shifted. And so continue to feel in the body this unity that is awakening throughout. And this unity will continue to grow. You continue to use this simple breath that I just showed you. And then I will, in the next few videos, I'll go over some different exercises that can help to bring you more into body awareness and help you to experience pure consciousness through the physicality, and then it will be projected through what you express, because your expression maybe is just an interpretation by your mind of what's happening in here. And this also, by being more tapped in, is also expressing what is happening universally, throughout the earth, the creatures on the earth, your cat, for example, your dog, the other people. The beingness is beginning to wake up and come out in a much larger way throughout. So I hope that's clear. I hope that makes sense. To me, this is a good way to discuss energy. It's physical expression of energy, but we're going to take the labels that distinguish and separate and turn them down and come in here and feel the universality, that word that I can't say, that universal expression, that all hearts beat as one, that we are far less distinct than others. We all have the same basic needs, and we are expressing it through this physicality in a very unique and advanced way. Even though in a lot of ways we have created this very limited self, it's a very advanced self, because it has the ability to be, to appear distinct from one another. And so before I go down a rabbit hole that is going to be too hard to find my way out of, I'm going to leave it at that. Tune in soon for exercises to help bring you deeper into parasympathetic, bring you deeper into body, and allowing that body intelligence to express and filter up through consciousness. Well, through your mental processes, which then you will feel more consciously. Okay. Thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, leave me comments. Ask for what it is that you might want to see coming up. I'll be talking about these things in greater depth, in more depth than probably you may have heard in other places, or maybe in just a different way. So I'm wishing you all the very, very best. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I think, if you're watching this, it's not for everyone. See if you can really understand what's happening here. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.